Hello, this is the training module for the AEI Online Physical Ability Test Data Forms for Delta Airlines. These forms are accessible to AEI certified proctors for the Delta Airlines testing protocols on the AEI website at advancedergonomics.com. The test form login can be found on the Clinics tab of the AEI website. Each vendor company providing proctors for Delta on-site events has its own login username and password to access the testing forms. Once logged in, you will be taken to the form selection page where you will select the job title for which test will be performed. At the bottom of the job title list is also a link to Delta location codes. The correct 3-letter airport code and 4-digit location code number will both need to be entered on the test form. Please consult with the on-site event lead proctor if you have any issues with internet access or with accessing the form. For this example, we'll be using the RAMP template form. This form is meant to be completed in real time during test administration using any electronic device with internet connectivity. Depending on the device you're using, you can use a mouse or touchscreen to select the field or simply use the Tab key to move to the next field. Do not hit the Enter key while completing the form. As mentioned previously, the airport designation and 4-digit location code are provided in the link on the form selection page. The test facility code is the code specified for each vendor company. Select the date and enter your initials as proctor for the test. For on-site events, the job designation will most always be pre-employment. Next, you will enter the job candidate information, most of which will come from the Runway to Hire card. Please make sure the candidate ID and job number are entered accurately. Also pay close attention to how the first name and last name fields are ordered, and be sure to enter these names exactly as shown on the Runway to Hire card. Enter the candidate weight, height in inches, gender, and ethnic code, followed by the candidate birth date. Once the birth date is entered, the age field will auto-populate, as will the pause and resume heart rates for the RAMP repetitive lift test further down the form. The RAMP test will begin with the kneeling bag lift. After reading the appropriate instructions and demonstrating, proceed with administering the lift test. Once completed, enter the maximum weight lifted and the reason for termination. Please always verify that you have selected the correct reason for termination. Immediately below the kneeling bag lift fields are fields for the repetitive lift results. The pause and resume heart rate fields will have already auto-populated when the candidate's birth date was entered. These numbers are based on a 10-second heart rate count. Take the candidate's starting heart rate at this point using a manual pulse at the wrist or elbow and a 10-second count as indicated in the testing protocol. Enter the 10-second count in the starting heart rate field. Once demonstration of the repetitive lift has been completed and testing proceeds, enter each completed circuit time in the numbered fields. Note that these fields require 4-digit entry, so times of less than 10 minutes will require a 0 to be entered as the first digit. Reference times are shown so that you can keep the candidate notified of how their progress compares to the pace needed to complete the circuits prior to the 15-minute and 30-second requirement for passing. Also note again that you will conduct a heart rate check after completion of the 3rd and 6th circuits and follow the testing protocol for comparing the candidate's heart rate to the pause and resume heart rate thresholds. However, these heart rate checks will not be entered on the form. After the repetitive lift test has ended, select yes or no for the question if 9 circuits were completed within 15 minutes and 30 seconds. Then enter the total number of circuits completed, the time stopped. Next, select the reason for termination of the repetitive lift test. Please note that there are 4 options for reason for termination, and these differ from those of other lift tests. The next test to be administered is the 12-inch to 60-inch lift test. Per the test protocol, this test can be started with the bag still weighted to 36 pounds from the repetitive lift test. or the 1 pound weight can be removed so that the test starts with the bag weighing 35 pounds. Complete the 12-inch to 60-inch lift to the candidate's maximum ability to a maximum weight of 55 pounds. Enter the maximum weight lifted and select the appropriate reason for termination. Once the 12-inch to 60-inch lift has been completed, administer the 12-inch to 24-inch lift test. This test can be started with the total ending weight of the previous 12-inch to 60-inch lift test. So if that test was completed to a maximum of 55 pounds, the 12-inch to 24-inch lift test can use that weight for the starting first lift attempt and completed if that lift is safe and successful. Once the 12-inch to 24-inch lift test has been completed, enter the maximum weight lifted and select the appropriate reason for termination. Under the comments section, select the bubble for AEI to contact you if you have additional important or critical comments pertaining to test performance, and enter any relevant comments in the comments field. Verify that the form fields are all complete and accurate and hit the Submit button at the bottom of the form. Note that as shown here, if any fields are incomplete, they will be highlighted in red for completion, and the form cannot be submitted until all fields are complete. Once you've successfully submitted the form, a thank you page will be displayed. If a thank you page does not appear after submitting the form is likely not submitted successfully. If this is the case, you may have to use the back arrow to get back to the form and attempt to resubmit. Consult with the on-site event lead proctor to ensure that the form gets submitted properly. Once the thank you page displays, you will notice that it contains all of the pertinent information from the test just submitted. Report any typos or errors immediately to the event lead proctor. You can also right-click on the page to print it or save it electronically for backup. At the bottom of the page, you can use the Start New Form button to advance to a new blank form of the same job title, just completed. Alternatively, you can use the back arrow with a few clicks to return to the form selection page to select a different job title. Thank you for completing this training module.